All right, hello
All right.
everybody. Welcome to episode 197 of Dissonant Waves. Domino, Ritz, and
Hell
Trix
yeah.
are all here. We are
Hello.
back together again after a couple weeks of being apart.
Yeah, apologies on that. I was in another country.
And better news, I am no longer homeless.
Yes, Ritz missed the homeless arc,
Yeah.
Yes.
and you sound great, which is great.
I'm recording on a Bluetooth headset.
And as we record on that Bluetooth headset, we have some things to talk about. After some time away, we've had some weeks to really digest these albums. We got Home is Where's Hunting Season, Troye Sivan's Blue Neighborhood Deluxe Edition, plus the In a Dream EP, and Beach Bunny's Tunnel Vision. Four things, more or less.
Yes, we do.
And this is the first time that I've recorded at home for a couple of weeks now.
You
It is.
were on a work trip and then vacation.
Yeah, I've recorded 2 weeks in a row in two different Melbourne hotels. Then I didn't record for a bit because it's in Auckland, which I think it's a bit fair. When you're on an anniversary trip with your fiance, you don't usually think, I'm going to go ignore her for a night to go record a shitty podcast.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
Have I also recorded though when I'm on vacation? Yes. Did I have a girlfriend to worry about? No.
okay, I don't think that's ever going to be an issue there, though, Dominic.
It almost was.
Yeah, you know. Things happen.
They do.
Man, did I miss the Dominic straight arc as well?
You did.
Wow, I missed a lot. Oh well.
Anyway, what do we want to start with? I'm thinking we'll do the one that's not 2025 first.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We got Troye Sivan's first album, Blue Neighborhood, an album we've talked about doing for years. It's a weird release. This actually is something I was trying to talk about in relation to when I picked AFI last time, because AFI they released a promo EP that was just a bunch of tracks from the album. This time, there was a kind of promo EP, the Wild EP, which had some songs that were then shared with the album, but only in the deluxe version were all of the songs from the Wild EP put into the track list as the full, hey, Blue Neighborhood's actually this whole thing, kind of a like weird addition thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like 10 songs originally, 11 if you count. There's two different versions of Wild depending on which digital edition there is. There's the XXYYXX remix, and then an Alicia Clara version as well, depending on I don't know when you bought it or something. It's hard to say.
I got the Alicia Cara version.
And then the original album itself is 10, and with the deluxe edition, we get up to 16. The Target version had two more tracks on top of that.
Them gays loving Target.
So there were
It's
many
ironic
versions.
because Target doesn't really exist in Australia, does it?
I mean that's a Ritz question. Ritz,
Ritz.
I forgot what the question was. I got distracted by the internet again.
does Target exist in Australia?
Target isn't really a thing.
Not the same type of Target. I'm pretty sure. Like it's in it's a very similar thing, but I think it's a different owner. Could be wrong. Let me check.
Doesn't it sell Kmart products? I remember reading that.
Well, Kmart's a different thing there, I think, or at least it's like a
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I gotta remember. I can't remember which ones are owned by which because it's all the whole fucking Colesworth shit. It's basically because Target's just a department store.
Yeah.
In there, yeah, it's basically the same.
And 10 years ago, Target was like the progressive place to work for
Yes.
people that needed a basic grocery department store job.
Here we go. Yep. Despite the identical logo, name, and similar type of outlets, Target Australia carries no direct relation or affiliation to the American one, which is what I thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I wanted to do the deluxe version because it includes the Wild EP that we don't have to cover it separately. And I think the album works a lot better with everything mixed in more. By itself, I think it's a little more basic, a little more lacking.
I
Oh.
have a take about this album.
Go ahead.
I'll have a 2-second take if I can do that first.
Sure.
I've come to realize that Bloom is the worst Troye Sivan record.
Yes, I had the same thought.
Yeah, yeah.
My take is that you cannot pay me to give a shit about this record.
And see, that's how I felt about this record years ago. And I liked Bloom a lot more over it. But as the years have changed, this album is hitting a lot more, and Bloom is like, yeah, okay. There was a period where a lot of pop stars.
Either.
There was a period where a lot of pop stars discovered sex, and that sex was cool and good for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Janelle Monáe had it with Dirty Computer. You know, it's all, you know, there's a... You can appreciate...
They stuck with the sex themes.
That's true. That's true. And you can appreciate, you know, artists discovering themselves and what they like and how they feel. And you could argue Troye Sivan kind of stuck with it with something to give each other, in a way.
Yeah.
But this album actually turned out to be, for me, pretty good. I liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it.
Well, my comparisons are going to come in with, out of all of Troye Sivan's work, we got to go back to the Trix.
Yes.
And my take on that, back when we listened to it, was this is the exact type of music that I thought I would hear from when you said upcoming artists from Fremantle or Perth, which I believe is where they're from. I believe they're Western Australian. I can't remember completely. On there. And sound-wise and just vibe-wise of my judgment, Blue Neighborhood still has that kind of going on for it.
Okay.
If you've... To be incredibly offensive, if you'd told me to say, what did I expect an industry plant pop star to sound like in 2015 from Perth? Exactly this. Now, I don't know Troye Sivan's true going up, I don't think they actually are a industry plant or anything like that. But especially about my time back then, that's the thoughts I would have had. I would have completely disregarded. And I think as time has come on, as this era of indie electronic, even though this isn't really that indie, but that is still the style that it was kind of going on to make it a bit more, I guess, different than the other pop sphere. Yeah, it's currently a period of time, especially for Australian music, that I feel like is starting to become nostalgic. I feel like a lot more of the electronic stuff that we've got now is more going into that club style than it is into this kind of more like poppy, kind of dreamy electronic that we had for a bit. And with that nostalgic glasses, I kind of do appreciate a bit of the sound that's going on in this album a bit more, even if I'm not fully keen on this. You know, I think listening to the new Troye Sivan stuff is finally the whole like, oh, this is a good Troye Sivan album.
Yeah.
Whilst this is, I mean, it's a product of its time. It also feels like, but Bloom also feels like a product of its time, but worse.
This one is interesting in the way because it's nostalgic because it feels like that mid 2010s, like before Trump and the dark times fully took over. There was a sense of like things were progressing in a way, and like things were hopefully kind of looking up maybe, and people were like coming out and like being queer was like more accepted. So to have like, oh, my debut album is like this queer love story being told, and there was a bunch of music videos that were released with this album that told like of like childhood romance and like, you know, growing up and all that stuff. That, you know,
I wasn't there for.
I don't really care about, like, they're cute, they're nice. I appreciate the effort going into like making like a progression of music videos, but I think the way the album sometimes leans on like child stuff, like there's a couple like kid choruses, a couple like little glockenspiel-esque moments. Those to me are like the things that age the least well. Anything that tries to throw back to like, oh man, we got to get the kid choir in here to sing the chorus of youth.
Yeah.
Like you don't need it. It's interesting, I guess, but it just feels out of place.
Yeah.
Like, other than that, though, like, a number of the songs at least feel, looking back, they feel Troye Sivan. Like, Cool feels very Troye Sivan. Bite feels very Troye Sivan. But it's these moments that are more, I think, playing to, like a mainstream pop aesthetic that are, like, the things. It's like, oh, that's not really Troye. I don't know, man.
This is also, I believe, the first time we've covered on this podcast either All Day or Broods.
Yeah, there's a number of
Yeah.
features on this album.
Yeah, when I think it had it on Bloom as well. I think Gordy was featured on that. I do always appreciate that from Troye. It was this fact. It didn't feel like it was a complete bring the ladder up with him. It felt like he was trying to also encourage. I guess we're featuring more like ANZ artists with because Brood's on Australian and New Zealand, and having them feature on there. I do appreciate that. Even if some of their features aren't fantastic on this, I think All Days had probably one of his worst verses on For Him.
Mhm.
Yeah, he didn't super impress me. TK on DKLA was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find like the great ways to kind of
I guess
explain or judge this album, and
I guess
using words that I haven't really already said. You go.
I want to describe a little more how my feelings have changed, because when Bloom came out, I really liked it, and I vibed a lot more with it. At that time, the only song I liked from this album was the XXYYXX remix of Wild. Like, I really thought that was a cool like remix, and I vibed with it. Nothing else grabbed me. Nothing else like impressed me at all. And so to come back around years later and it's like, oh, actually there is something here that's worth listening to is cool. It's impressive. It's nice. I still really like the remix, but my appreciation has definitely blossomed or bloomed, if you will, for what Troye was at least trying to do. I think as time went on and we got to what we'll talk about In a Dream and Something to Give Each Other and all that, I think that works a lot better.
I also think knowing the kind of sound that this album has going on and what the landscape was of Australian music, especially around 2015, 2016 time, you could probably understand why I'd disregard this quite a lot, especially about 10 years ago.
Sure.
And on this, I come out of this album thinking, it's fine. I don't hate this.
It's not Trixie.
I'm not in love with it. I don't like Trixie, really, though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not Trixie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This came out like a year later, basically, and I think it is a lot improved.
Yeah. It's an improvement over Trixie. And in the end, though, it's still just... Well, I don't want to be like saying it's an insult way of saying a landfill type of album, because I'm more just referencing landfill indie. But it did feel like one of those albums that basically just existed. And honestly, to put out my my expert analysis, I would have disregarded this back in 2015 as an artist that would have completely just came and went, be like one of those, oh yeah, they had a bit of a hit and then no one cared about them 10 years later. I was wrong.
And I mean, it's not hard to see why you would think that. Like, it's a YouTube star that pivoted.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of done back then, but that was still, I think, people approached that with a lot of trepidation and kind of suspicion of like, oh, you're gonna just switch to do music now. Okay. But are you any good? You can't just do it, you have to be good. And over time, I think Troye proved that he's actually good at it. But this feels like the album where he was like a man alone on an island. Yeah, like, he had some features and all that, but clearly things changed once he started talking to Charlie XCX and Lauv and all those people.
Man, I do not like the idea of Lauv turning Troye Sivan into anything in the music sphere. Just because I'm still pissed off of how boring that Lauv album was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lauv kind of came. It was the one that kind of came and went in the end.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think anyone's upset about that.
Nope.
I guess Lauv must be, but
he made his money.
Well, yeah, they got more popular than 99.99% of people on the planet.
Fair.
Yeah.
Can you really be that upset?
No, when you have such a high opinion of yourself, you always hope for more.
Yeah, that's true. I couldn't really give you like a least favorite off this record. I don't think there's like anything that stood out to me as as bad off this. It's just that there was a lot of nothing in it. But I did like the Broods collaboration. I think Broods actually had a really good feature on this, so I'll give a
Yeah,
shout out to Ease.
Ease was pretty good.
I like DKLA had some nice stuff. I think The Quiet was pretty good for what it was. When we get to the end of the album, you're kind of losing me. Like songs like Blue, it's like I don't really care. I still think the Wild remix is really good. That still really stands out to me. So that's probably
the version
my I don't
version I heard had Alessa, and Alessa Cara's version kind of was the worst version. So
yeah, I listened to that just to see, and I did not care for it. But yeah, the other remix is probably my favorite overall. My least favorite is probably like Blue or For Him. Lost Boy was pretty good, I guess too.
Classical blender for me.
But then we switch over to In a Dream, and we
Yes.
move forward about 5 years, and look where Troye is now.
This is better.
This is better.
yeah,
And like, there's some surprises. Like, Take Yourself Home has like that club thing happening from like the last 30 seconds. And that's fun.
Yeah.
I think I just appreciate. This isn't again an EP in which I go like, oh yeah, this is where truly Troye Sivan shines. Everything. This is the peak.
Yeah.
I think this is just one of those ones of, okay, they're finally expanding their sound, and I appreciate in this album, this EP, which is basically a mini album.
Yeah.
More than everything before it, because whilst I don't think everything here is hitting or staying there, I appreciate that we're getting a lot of different sounds happening on this. It feels like a start of an attempt to kind of reinvent what Troye Sivan is.
Yeah.
Like, I think it hones in better on what Troy is going for, and like we get away from the like, oh man, Bloom is all about relationships and sex and everything, and that's not bad. But this is more of a like an easier going out little album, a little easier, just like variety of topics. Like, it's not trying to be anything more than it is, and it works, I think, better for that. Like 10 out of 10 is a nice little song. Take Yourself Home has some really nice parts in it. Like, do we need Could Cry Just Thinking About You? But
Short little interlude.
yeah, like with an album this short, do we super need it? Not really, but
No.
again, we're just talking about that variety, and just like we're not as focused, or we're not as like immaculately concepting this album to be like perfect.
No.
Like, this is a 2020 release. Was it made during COVID? Maybe, maybe not.
Pretty sure this is. Oh, it was actually mid 2020. I thought it was like early 20. There you go. I was wrong. Yeah,
So-
no, this would have been made before COVID.
Right. Yeah. So, but maybe things changed for it in the intervening months. Like, maybe it's like, well, let's just put it out and see what happens. Or maybe it was something that I feel like if COVID hadn't happened, we would get something again that's more perfect and more like concepted like Bloom. But we didn't.
And I guess that's why COVID was a canon event.
Yeah.
We would have gotten another fucking Bloom, and yeah, yeah.
We would have.
This is actually just an episode where we shit on that one Troye Sivan album.
Which I liked at the time, and it has some decent songs still, but but in the end, it is just the worst album that he has.
Yeah.
Not the worst project. Trixie is still worse.
Nah, Trixie's better than Bloom.
Uh
I
That's
have
my
no
take.
strong feelings one way or the other.
there are still catchy
What,
moments.
straight.
Straight passing, maybe.
I did notice that 1010 has the exact same starting chord and fingerpicking pattern to The Breeze by Dr. Dog.
Did you listen to Easy again, like I asked you to?
I did. I kind of hear it.
I really think Lorenzo could cover that pretty easily and make that something really cool for Petite League.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, cute little EP. And I like it more than Blue Neighborhood, probably.
I definitely like it more than Blue Neighborhood.
My least favorite, or sorry, my favorites on that. Take Yourself Home is cool, easy, 10 out of 10. My least favorite, could cry just thinking about you instead.
I don't really have
Major
any horse in this
teenager.
race, the favorite or least favorite. So as I talked over Trix.
You're good. I'm used to it.
If the audience doesn't realize by now, we can't see each other when we record usually, so we don't know when everyone's talking.
Yeah.
No.
Plus, I have that large ping.
Yes.
Usually, it's not that much of a problem.
I'll make it a problem. Anyway, Trix, what are your favorites and least favorite? I think I heard Ranger Teenager.
Yeah, I'll just say I like Ranger Teenager.
Yeah. Cute little song. Cute little EP. All right. What are we going to talk about next? Is it going to be Beach Bunny?
Yeah, Beach Bunny.
Yeah, let's talk about Beach Bunny.
We all knew what we were ending this with.
Yeah.
You got to toy with it a little bit. You got to make it fun.
And I have some takes coming up.
Well, then say them.
Well,
we'll
get to them. We'll get to them.
It's to the next one.
All right, television.
I picked this one because I was half asleep and I'm like, I need something easy to remember. Oh, there was a new Beach Bunny. We'll just do that.
Have you listened to that episode now that it's out?
I have
No, of course not.
Trix, you sound so asleep throughout so much of that.
I was half asleep through most of it. I
probably sound
slept
like
most of it.
shit because of the fucking place I was in.
It's not the best, but like Trix is just almost incomprehensible at points.
Oh, I'm sure I was.
Like at one point, I was like, "Hey, everyone is okay. Don't worry," because it was just like, "Is she having a stroke?"
No, I was just half asleep.
Yeah.
Didn't I say that we had a fight because you fucked my wife?
Correct.
Was that the episode before? Yeah, I can't remember what episode that was. It's been a while.
But television.
It did happen, by the way. Dominic did fuck my wife.
Well, she's not your wife yet. First of all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your excuse.
Second of all, I don't know why you hired me to be at her bachelorette party. If you didn't expect it.
No, I expected it. I'm just disappointed in myself.
Like,
Beach Bunny.
I paid my way to get to Australia. I'm getting something out of it.
Going to the gayest city in Australia and get chose by white.
It was consensual, so I mean, did I choose her? Did she choose me? Who could say?
So it's like a rescue situation.
It was just something that happened. You can't call me.
Jokes dying.
You can't call me Mr. Predictable.
Beach Bunny.
You think Mr. Predictable and Miss California are married?
Beach Bunny. We have fun on this podcast.
We do.
You know what? I have come to really like this album.
Me too.
It's an adorable, short little pop rock album. I think it's got a bunch of catchy hooks that happen on here. I seem to be in a minority out of all of us that I think the debut Beach Bunny album's the best.
I mean,
yeah, I think you are in the minority. It's a good album, but I think her later work is really good.
I didn't like the Emotional Creature.
I am quite a early EP defender.
Honeymoon was okay.
Emotional Creature's good, but
Emotional Creature was okay, but it peaked with Oxygen, and that was the debut single. But I think this one, Television, is very clean across the board. It's accessible. Yeah. It's cute. It's short, and so it's not gonna super last in your mind all the time, maybe. But for what it is, and what it does, it's probably her most consistent record.
Yeah. It's definitely more consistent than the Emotional Creature was. I'll definitely argue as well in favor of this being more consistent than Honeymoon. I think just Honeymoon has a lot more stronger highs, but I can't call it consistent when I still think California kind of sucks as for some.
Yeah.
Dream Boy, I don't hate as much as you do.
I fucking hate Dream Boy.
Some things just don't come off the right way,
Yeah.
This one, I think, both sound wise and quality wise, it's pretty consistent. Maybe a little bit to a fault, but not really. I think this is a pretty easy to digest Beach Bunny album.
You just kind of let
Yeah.
yourself enjoy it, because like the first time I listened to it through, I didn't really grasp it. It was just kind of there and it played. But when I did it again, I actually sat and listened a lot more, and it was like, okay, yeah, I'm in it now.
In a
Hell
way, it's
yeah.
probably the most mature Beach Bunny album as well, because I don't think they're trying to go for anything super crazy
Yeah,
or
there's a
anything
couple
in the
songs
structure.
that are. There's a couple songs on it that have like some like actual depth behind the lyrics with
Yeah.
like
Violence.
violence, pixie cut.
Yeah, just kind of just talking about feelings and like mental illness and just kind of the world.
Yeah.
And then talking about that like post-COVID thing of like I think everyone's gotten a little bit more, or not everyone, but a number of people got a little bit more world weary and just like not cynical perhaps, but just like I don't know, more ready for everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's still anxious, but not as like wallflower anxious as they were before.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm just gonna give up the actual album art for this is actually very pleasing to look at.
Yeah, it's just
And
girl
just
in bedroom, just hanging out.
there's the cloud there that almost looks like a love heart mushroom cloud that's happening in the background, but I think it's just supposed to be a cloud.
No, that's a mushroom cloud, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's wild because it doesn't look like it's fully touching the ground as all the whole cloud thing, but yeah, I think it is supposed to be a mushroom cloud, but it's one of those like hidden in the background things, which is kind of like it's a really cool art design on this, really.
Yeah.
you know, I thought those records on the wall were fans at first, and I was excited that she had 3 fans in her room.
I like the random shake on the shelf.
I think overcomplicated album arts and stuff can get a bit like visually displeasing, but this one still manages to be quite a complicated album art while still not hurting the eyes or anything like that. So whoever did the artwork on this, fantastic fucking job.
Yeah, you gotta love a good
Hell
CRT.
Yep. We all do.
It's a cute little pop rock album. I don't think it's gonna have any real standouts like the past 2 albums have, but
I think Mr. Predictable is probably the closest we get.
I don't know. I've been going back to Pixie Cut quite a bit.
time will tell on it.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
it's probably not also the most like let's talk about this album out of Beach Bunny's stuff that we've done there, just because it doesn't have all those standouts. But it's a pleasing album. It's very don't confuse easy listening with minimal or lazy or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's done a good job in the sense of making a full album.
like as things stand right now, if like nothing else hit me, like this will make my top 10, top 20 pretty easily. Is it very easy to get replaced as we progress through the year? Yeah, but it's stable, it's steady.
Yeah, it's a good album. There's sometimes not really much else you can say.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing to guess is sound wise, it's coming back to when we first listened to Beach Bunny. It's less angsty.
A lot of that's in the
Doesn't-
background now.
Doesn't mean that it doesn't have anything to say or anything like that, or that she's not angry at things. It just sounds less angsty. It sounds a bit more. I guess any problems that she's talking about in here seem a lot more sincere or fleshed out instead of just. As much as I think Honeymoon is still like the best when it comes to the record, a lot of that is still just boy problems but not in any kind of like here's why a boy is crap or anything like that. It's just heartbreak boy problem.
This feels like a day in the life in a way. Like the problems you encounter every day, there's the kind of subjects and topics that you kind of encounter as you go throughout it.
Yeah. It's a fun little album.
Favorites off this, Tunnel Vision and Vertigo are probably my favorites. Least favorites probably something like probably something that's just around the corner.
I like Mr. Predictable. I like Cycles. Pixie Cut's pretty good. I don't know if I have a strong least favorite. It's all just kind of good and it flows, and then it leaves.
Yeah. Favorites for me: Pixie Cut, Tunnel Vision. No real least favorites.
Yeah, I will give ups to Big Pink Bubble as well. It's a good follow up to Mr. Predictable.
Yeah.
And that leads us
Alright.
now to the big one.
I
Yes.
am the whaler.
No, that was last time, Ritz.
That was last time.
I know. We hunted the whale.
And instead now we have an album about Elvis impersonators.
Yep.
Yeah.
13 Elvis impersonating songs. Not the same Elvis impersonator, but one for each different Elvis impersonator in the same car wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, the dying thoughts of them. And for a moment, I believe this lookalike is really him.
In a weird way. It's like a really interesting follow up to I Am the Intimidator.
Kind of.
Alright, so. It's a fucking country album, Trix. Are
Yeah.
you happy now?
You want to hear my take?
I want to say first that my feelings on this album are very complicated. So Trix, go ahead.
Mine are also very complicated, but I think I can say for certainty right now, as of the amount of listens I've put into, and surely I will also give that it was also overshadowed by another album that was released a week later.
Yeah.
But this is my least favorite Home Is Where album.
You say that in a bad way. I agree that it's my least favorite Home Is Where album when we compare it to I Became Birds and The Whaler. But my take is that this is still such a fucking good album that Home Is Where might just be the fucking goats.
It is surely, as a whole work, my least favorite. But it is also, from like the first moments, a clear, just like classic.
Yes,
Yes.
I need to let it grow on me. Like, this will
There's
be an
just
album I come back to in a couple months, and I'm just like, oh shit, why didn't I love this album.
B. McDonald is just one of the greatest songwriters, putting it out there. Album grabbed me from the line of God is a car crusher and heaven is a junkyard.
Yeah.
That's
really
a top tier line.
It's really weird because
Mm.
most of the first half of this album I don't particularly care for. Reptile House is great, but it's when we get to Everyone Won the Lotto that I really get into it. That said, my favorite Home Is Where song is on this record.
Okay.
You're not going a fucking pre-sisters swallowing a donkey's eye moment again, are you?
Oh, he's totally doing a pre-sister swallowing a donkey's eye.
What do you mean?
With Roll Tide.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not Roll Tide.
Oh.
No.
I'm not guessing the other 12.
Like, there's a good chance this song will be my favorite of the year.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're hyping this up to 3 listeners. Come on.
More than I don't know why the song makes me just very like emotional, so it's like hard to talk through it sometimes. I don't know why, but there's just something about Mechanical Bull that just really gets me.
Fair enough.
Let me get the lyrics up for that one again. Because I swear that one is. I keep forgetting which songs sometimes have the fucking some of the fucking top tier lyrics on it. Ah, yes. For Christ's sakes, give me a goddamn break, and then the flood came and washed Travis County, Texas away.
There's just something about the way it's presented, the way the guitar is done, the lyrics, just something about it that just digs deep and just, I don't know, it just fucks me up.
I think
Fair enough.
I think the big context also realizing about what exactly is going in the minds of B and in the sense the rest of Home Is Where is the current political landscape. Despite the fact that this doesn't sound like a political album, it is. I think it was Pitchfork or something that read it best that this isn't an alternative country album. It's an album wishing for an alternative country.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, if you know the context of that both B and Tilly have had to move out of Florida and they've been incredibly homesick about it, but knowing they just cannot live there due to who they are.
Yeah.
It kind of starts to make a lot of sense of why they're going into this kind of sound, and a lot of the, they've had grotesque imagery happening since I Became Birds. Assisted Harakiri was kind of the start of that, and then The Wailer was a really, well, in my opinion, still a fucking incredible album, which his whole concept was basically, a grotesque killing of innocence, and comparing that with 9/11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And in this, it is, in a sense, making the great American record, not trying to make what is the great American record, but trying to make an album that sounds like the great American.
This is just a tribute.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually the song, but this is a representation.
And
yes.
It has some incredible, interesting moments that happen on it. Artificial grass, which goes through all those little change ups that happen on it. I love it. Fuck you.
Ironically, the thing it's my feeling on this is that there is always such a fine line between when a songwriter and a singer and everything involved, like, there's such a fine line when it's a very specific voice between being really good and really fitting and really emotional, and sometimes not. And I think some of the songs, especially in the first half, I just wish B didn't do it like that.
I disagree.
Like,
I think the first half has some incredible. Yes, some of them might be a bit more accessible or commercial, I'd even say, but they're still really great. I know Migration Patterns has that very simple da 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 as the chorus, but I found myself listening enough times where I can't help but enjoy it. It brings a bit of a smile to the face, despite the whole kind of bleak imagery that's going in the whole thing. Plus, it's got one of my favorite closing lines of the year of the "I don't want to live forever. I'd still have to go to work."
I do feel like there was a missed opportunity, because, like, there are times where B sounds like she could just yodel, and I feel like that would have been
that would be on LP4.
Like, I feel like yodeling would have worked somewhere on here.
Yeah.
But what I appreciate about the earlier records, I Became Birds, The Wailer, is that, like, yes, sometimes B's voice was rough, but the songs generally worked for it, and they were together in a way that made it make sense. Some of the songs here I don't think are done the same way. But it's only when we get to songs like Shenandoah and, like, Everyone Won the Lotto for me, where it's like, this is what I want. This is, like, the parts that I was hopefully expecting more of and what I wanted more of. And it's unfair to judge something based on my expectation and what I wanted it to be instead of what it is. And like I said, Mechanical Bull, I think, is the best song they have produced by, like, a lot. But
I can also say, just from having seen a lot of people, going into your part about expectations, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But for us, we've been there since I Became Bird. It's not the start, but since the time in which we could expect a bit more heavier Homer's Best sounds. Whilst I've seen other people go into this album that haven't quite been as keen as Homer's Best, especially on The Wailer, that have found a lot more appreciation for this album. Some who enjoy it a lot more than The Wailer. This doesn't just go to friends of mine, but seeing on the online discourses as well and stuff like that. So, in a sense, with the expectation, especially with a lot of people going fresh into it, I'd be hindering in a sense. I don't think it's wrong to do that. I definitely had to find myself adjusting to the fact that this is a lot more of a country album.
I expected it to be, because they talked about doing it.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect it to be that doubled down. I'm still along for the ride, don't get me wrong.
It was interesting. Lucas from Grief Eater did a like, here's everything I listened to, like the top things I listened to last month, and this album was like number 2.
All right.
Cheekface even gave this album a shout out.
Hell yeah.
And so I think in a way, like, it's definitely breaking through and getting attention still. And I think it is in some ways. I hate to make it seem like it's like literally groundbreaking, but I think there is ground being broken. It is unlike anything else.
Yeah.
Like we've had the mix of emo and country before. Bands like Wednesday and all of them, I think, kind of have like started down a path of making that like a codified sound. This is something else.
Definitely.
Like the Wailer was helping back then too. But yeah, this is a unique thing on its own, and the thing that it's always weird when you're in the moment, watching this stuff come out, watching this stuff happen, because when it's 20 years from now, and there are hopefully 15 Homeless Wear records or something like that, we'll have the full breadth and depth of what they can do artistically, and it'll be a lot easier to put the Wailer and the Hunting Season and everything together and like compare and contrast and like make the Venn diagram or like the fucking It's Always Sunny conspiracy board of how it all fits together.
Yes.
It's harder to do it now because we're just living through this and we're just kind of crossing the Rubicon and seeing how different this is now, and the question of where it can go from here is a very open question.
Well, I guess I Became Birds ended up with the old country, which had that bit of influence going to the Wailer, and then that's now gone in here. I don't know if there's any more of that sound to evolve into. So it does become a bit of a question of where it goes from here, which is not a judgment of the album. It's just a question what goes on, and it's kind of what also puts out the closer into what I think is a very fitting closer with the drive-by mooning and ending up with the Home Is Where Forever.
Yeah.
And I don't hope this is true, but if say they decided to not put out another bit of music after this, which I don't think is true. I think they are actually on LP4. But say if not to do it, this is the type of discography that I'd say is, you know, when you start screaming out your own name to end off your final piece of music, you could call that a bit self-indulgent or anything like that. But I think a band like Home Is Where earns that.
Oh yeah,
despite the short time that they've been around for, and it could even just be like the end of this era, and they go back into a bit more of a screamo sound, or they go.
I don't think it's that easy.
Bob Dylan record. I don't think either, but it's a discussion around it can only be had when we get LP4, but
because they draw on a lot of different, you know, inspirations. Like, yes, we are used to the Scramsey led Bob Dylan-esque, Neutral Milk Hotel-esque moments. Mm-hmm. But now we've gone down the country route, and we could easily go further from here. I think we could double down and like get even further down the country road if we wanted to.
Absolutely.
We could also like go into a more psychedelic or like weird Home Is Where record that's more like Neutral Milk, where you don't know what to expect because it's just kind of piecemealing things together and just trying to make something new. Versus like, oh man, we're going more country, we're doing more of this. It's like, or it could be a Bob Dylan thing where it's more of a classical sound for them and more of like a fully put together album, and it'll be fine, it'll be good, but maybe it won't be the magic of the others because they need to right the ship and like go in a different direction, which I don't think it will be.
But regardless, going back onto the actual album that we have right now, because we're already going on about their next album about a month after this one got released.
not intentionally, just like
where's your King Gizzard discography, Home Is Where?
It's just that it's exciting because it's a unique album. We are all not as into it as some people are.
Yeah,
I'm still pretty into this though. Like this will go down as one of my favorites of the year. I don't think it gets as cemented as the favorite like the Wailer did, where that was basically okay. Everything else is just kind of here. And we had a pretty good second place with Wednesday as well. Like, that was probably as close as any other album was going to get that year.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a case of, whilst I don't think this is a full perfect record, it's still quite an experience start to finish. I think the performances in here, getting that kind of emotion to carry through with the vocals, still carries quite a lot of weight. The opening lines to Reptile House, even I need to get the actual line up for that up there so I don't fucking misquote it.
The wildlife eats shit and each other.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wildlife. I was trying to think what was the first words. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something season again, and the lawns are dead.
Yeah, and the casual just the way that the kind of music comes into a lot more of a I guess folky and uplifting sound afterwards feels it doesn't feel out of place, kind of things like that. It just feels like the kind of thing that would happen on here, to go like, here's a very depressing start and now we're just making casual country onto it. Feels like the most kind of, I guess, what's the way of describing that? It's when things are bleak and you're just carrying on like normal way. It's the most lifelike thing I think you can do.
Yeah.
Plus the chorus is great. I set myself on fire in front of my boss.
Yeah.
And sound-wise, going into this, whilst it was something that I wasn't fully expecting. That's the beauty of them as a band, is that even after all this time and making some full like albums as long as they have, which granted aren't like these fucking 2-hour masterpieces, they're still making songs that sound distinctive from each other.
Yes.
There's no confusing a song for another, and they're changing up their sounds, and they're still being fucking good at it.
And they finally did the 10-minute song challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the bands, except probably Origami Angel at this point, have dabbled. But I like that I don't like it as much, if that's a weird thing to think about.
I get that.
I am very firmly of the opinion that artists should not be out there trying to please me as a fan. I am there for their art, and I'm there to see what they have to give and experience what they have to present to me. And I am not always going to love it. I am not always going to be there for it. But it's the vibe, it's the trip, it's everything surrounding it that I am there for. It's not a disappointment. Like I said, from like the first song, it feels like a classic.
Yeah.
I think the best way of describing this, just in terms of the take on this, is that this is a truly dissonant waves album in which there is a lot of different opinions that you can have in this, and I don't think any of them are incorrect. I still love this because I'm a Homer's Wear stan and will be to the day that I die, apparently, because they just keep putting out albums. And with this being such a kind of harder to digest comparingly with the sound change, even though it's not that out of the I guess it's not that much of a surprise that they're going for this. It is a bit harder to, I guess, fully enjoy some of all this, but I don't know, I like it. Right. Home is where forever. Forever.
Home is where.
I would love to see them doing more southern rock. Like, do what King Gizzard tried to do and make it more of a focus. I don't know. There's plenty of potential still. Home is Where has plenty of room and plenty of road. And I think, maybe it's obvious to say, but I think part of this record's legacy will be defined by what comes after it.
Yeah.
Favorites and least favorites. I think this is the least that we've ever talked about a Home as Well album.
It's because it's challenging. It's challenging.
It is.
Because it's not something that is always pleasing to the ear or pleasing in the same way that like the Wailer is. It's not something that you just approach and you can dissect song by song in quite the same way.
To be fair, when the Wailer came out, I listened to it like 5 times in one day.
I did too.
But this is not that album. I don't think it's meant to be that.
You can't listen to it that much.
Like, I could certainly listen to parts of the album like that. I could listen to Mechanical Bull all fucking day. I could listen
Yeah.
to Everyone Won the Lotto, Shenandoah. But like, it's in the same way that listening to The Wailer was a lot, but you could also keep doing it and you could kind of sit with it and really absorb the things that we're getting across. That should have been an album that felt heavier because it was dealing with a lot of heavy topics, but it was packaged in such a way that it didn't. Intentionally so, I think.
Yes.
This one feels heavier and more weighty, and it wants you to sit and think more.
I just have one request for the next Home Is Where release.
Mm-hmm.
The Wailer came out at probably the lowest point of my mental health, and fucking hunting season came out it came out right before I was homeless. So if the next Home Is Where could happen when I'm like in a good place, I'd appreciate that.
Trix, think about it this way. Next time Home Is Where announces an album, you know when you're going to have a shit time. You can prepare for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess.
it's been every 2 years pretty consistently, but who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll cut it down and do another one next year. We don't know.
Maybe.
Till then, favorites. Drive-by Mooning. I love you, but sometimes you're the worst a person I ever met. It's such a catchy little line that happens in there. I personally think if you're going to go for like what is one of the more emotional lines on there that hits that, but also Artificial Grass and Migration Patterns. Least favorites, probably something like Stand Up Special.
Yeah, Stand Up Special is definitely my least favorite.
Yeah.
But Mechanical Bull is the song to beat for this year.
I'll say my favorite is Drive By Mooning, and my least favorite is Stand Up Special.
Okay, well, now we have to rank these, and that's also difficult.
I think we all have the same ranking.
I don't know.
Trix, you start.
Okay, I will put. I will start, and I will put Blue Neighborhood at the bottom, and then In a Dream, and then the Beach Bunny album, and then Home Is Where up top.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know. Because it yes, I've said it already. Home Is Where hunting season is going to be a big deal. It's a classic. It is something that is challenging to engage with, but also it's the album that had the most songs I enjoyed the least this week. So how do you put that against something I enjoyed generally pretty easily, like Beach Bunny?
I just want to point out, Dominic, that it seems like I've broken you the most that I ever had. With probably one of the least breaking. You didn't get this broken mentally trying to process stomach bug. And that was like our first way into like claustrophobia pop. Now thinking back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was just another exploration. That was part of the ride. This is also part of the ride, but in a different way.
Your mental health has been broken by Elvis impersonators.
I'm happy with that. But like, part of me is saying that this is my least favorite of the week because there are a good amount of songs that I don't enjoy that much. But also there are songs I enjoy to the point that it could be my favorite of the week.
Just remember that consistency with your takes does not have to exist on this podcast. If you go back and say I was wrong, or I'm an idiot, or I was right, that's what happens all the time. In case in point, I put Petite League's Rattler slightly below Bag Raiders' album that week, and now I look back at that and go, well, only one of those is correct.
Yep.
I didn't pick it.
Here's what I'll do. Blue Neighborhood on the bottom, Home Is Where, In a Dream, Beach Bunny. We'll see how wrong I am.
Okay.
If you think too hard about it, that's what kills you.
Yep. Rip to your perfect number one.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. So what are we doing
Maybe I'll
next
get
week,
it next
guys?
week. Yeah, a good question. Dominic, what are you doing next week?
Oh yeah. So this one harkens back to the very first episode we recorded, where I made an offhand comparison that I have thought about ever since. We were covering Hot Flash Heatwave at the time, and I just talked about how their album Neapolitan, the last song Wildflower, sounded like a song from Apples in Stereo.
Ah.
All right.
So we're going back to Elephant Six. We're going back to Robert Schneider. We're gonna do the Apples in Stereo, New Magnetic Wonder. And
Okay.
you can optionally listen to Wildflower from Neapolitan to just have that comparison's sake. But I'm gonna further the comparison's sake anyway, and we're also gonna do Hot Flash Heat Waves Mood Ring EP.
Okay.
I'm currently just trying to find a little EP to add onto mine. So.
While you do that, Ritz, I think it's obvious what I'm picking this week. I am picking the new Petite League album, Dead Star City Tours. And
I was for sure you're gonna pick something else there.
and I'm also going to tag on the Bad Words single and the Suburban Speed Demons EP.
All right, I found a little EP to tag on to. Okay. 12 Point Buck, their new album. Valve, Family Trust. Alright.
All right.
So that was Where are you?
So that was Hot Flash Heatwave, the Mood Ring EP.
Yes.
The Apples in Stereo album that I forgot the title of.
New Magnetic Wonder.
New Magnetic Wonder. Is that the one with energy on it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's that one. Petite League, Dead City Star Tours, and Bad Word single, and the Suburban Speed Demons EP. And then 12 Point Buck, Loud Music for Quiet People, and Valve, Family Trust.
All right.
I guess
I have been Dominic.
I guess I'm just broken this time in this place.
Yeah.
Never listened to Homer's Ware Hunting Season. Worst mistake of my life.
I will link mine later.
I'm Dominic. You can find me online. I did make a Blue Sky. It's DACICHSCKI, like my Twitter was. So you can find me there if you wish. I'm trying to get back into writing about video games and stuff again. So maybe I'll have some bylines to share eventually. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
I have been Ritalin. I am currently finding another album to break Domino's mental and heart with. Try fucking my wife this week, Dominic. You can also catch me in the in whatever I've linked in the description below. I haven't actually linked it. Dominic has, but since I'm acting as Dominic now, time to fuck my own wife.
All right. I have been Trix, and you can catch me smoking on a fire escape somewhere.
Fire escape cigarettes.
Yes.
Warm,
Fire
hazy
Escape.
night.
Is that a Beachbody reference?
No, I'm just legitimately smoking hella clove cigarettes on my my fire escape.
It's that clove smoke catharsis.
Yes.
Just over here joking it, and by it I mean my peanuts.
Anyway, have a wonderful time existing, you person, whoever you are listening to this now.
Our one listener.
We appreciate you. You're the best.
Thanks, Jude.
Hey, it could be Sholto, you don't know.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Or both. Anyway, bye.